Hello everyone. So we'll continue our discussion. So we are discussing about polity. We are discussing about important things which are obviously important from what is a prelims perspective in polity. And we are also trying to discuss not only the static part but even the dynamic part. So that will help us a lot, right? So let's continue the discussion. In the previous session, the previous video lecture, what we have done was we have discussed till Rajya Sabha, right? We have discussed till Rajya Sabha. So we'll now continue and we'll continue the discussion, we'll talk about something called transformative constitutionalism and why we have added that or why I have added this in my notes. Because there was a question which was in one of the test series. I don't remember the name, or even if I remember it, I won't tell you because then many issues can arise. So in one of the test series, they asked about transformative constitutionalism and they gave you different options that this is transformative constitutionalism. And there was all of them, all of those options look very similar, right? But the basic thing is, what is transformative constitutionalism? It is a dynamic nature of constitution. What is transformative constitutionalism? It is a dynamic nature of constitution in realizing various rights guaranteed by it. So the meaning of all this jibber jabber is, right? The meaning of all this jibber jabber is that constitution is very dynamic in nature, and you can interpret in various other ways, right? Like the what do you say, judiciary has done in the case of Keshwanand Bharati, Minerva Mills, any Golaknath, all these different scenarios. So this is transformative constitutionalism, and now it was recently invoked. This provision of transformative constitutionalism was recently invoked by Supreme Court in Navtej's Johar judgment. That was for decriminalization of Section 377. This is important. They can directly ask you, Navtej Johar judgment deals with what? So Navtej Johar judgment deals with decriminalization of Section 377 of IPC. So Mangal Jaga Shavdhan, right? So we should be happy about them. Cool, dude. Now let's talk about, there are two again. These are little factual things. So again, if you know it, you know it. Otherwise, you don't. Right? This, what do you say? The thing which we just read earlier, that is transformative constitutionalism, or thing which we'll just read now, which is democracy index, and then press freedom index. Here, what is important is, even if you don't remember how they are ranking, how democracy index is ranking on different parameters, the only thing which is very important from UPSC perspective to know is what is or who publishes it, who publishes democracy index, who publishes press freedom index. So democracy index is published by Economist Intelligence Unit, EIU. This is important, they do ask it. The UPSC has a tendency of asking different reports and who publishes it, right? There was one, what is a common joke also, that in the case of economic reports, if you don't remember anything, say WEF, World Economic Forum, because WEF publishes a lot of reports, but again, that's not foolproof, right? So democracy index ranks nations on 5 parameters, that is electoral process, pluralism, functioning of government, political participation, political culture, and civil liberties. That's fine. The only thing which is very important here is to remember that EIU publishes democracy index. Now, India was ranked 41 and it was classified as flawed democracy by democracy index, right? So everything is not very hunky-dory as it seems. But again, we have to take these reports with a pinch of salt. Press Freedom Index. Now, Press Freedom Index is published by someone called Reporters Without Borders, and it is a very, very, very important report, or whatever Woody said. This is a very important report, Press Freedom Index, much more important than what we have read earlier, which was Democracy Index. So, Press Freedom Index, you have to Google it, know more about it, know what is India's position right now, right? So, Press Freedom Index, Reporters Without Borders, important, very important from prelims point of view. Now let's talk about FR and DPSP. So these notes or these points which we are talking about FR and DPSP, this is called parallel study, which helps a lot, right? Mrunal sir has also, when he talks about Mrunal sir or somebody, yes, Mrunal sir only. So when he taught economy and all those stuff, so he talked about parallel study, and believe me, parallel study helps a lot, especially in polity. So let's talk about FR and DPSP. And again, this is a very, very, very important question from prelims perspective. What is the question, dude? The question is, who told, or Granville Austin said what as the conscience or conscience of Constitution? So he said FR and DPSP both are the conscience of the Constitution. So here they can give you an option like FR, DPSP, both A and B. Suppose this is A and this is B, and C they will write both A and B, or in D they will write neither A and B, and suppose anything, and they can give you E. They don't give E right now in UPSC, right? They can give you what is FD. So you have to understand it is both. Both FR and DPSP were called conscience of the Constitution by Granville Austin. Now, what is FR? They are negative obligations. They put restriction on government that you cannot do this, you cannot, you have to provide equality, you cannot discriminate on the basis. So it's all like cannot. Government cannot do this, government cannot do that, to protect the liberty of the citizens, and not only liberty, other scenarios also. So it's a negative obligation, imposes limitation on government. Whereas DPSP a positive obligation. States should make provisions for uniform civil code. States should do this. States should ensure equal pay for equal work and all those things. So it's a positive obligations. Now, FR talks about political democracy. Again, these are very, very important things. And what we are trying to do, we are trying to do parallel study of FR and DPSP. So FR talks about political democracy, your rights, your all these things. DPSP is all about how social and economic equality should prevail in society, or what should we do to. It's not only about social and economic democracy, but predominantly about social and economic equality and all those stuff. So FR deals with political democracy and DPSP deals with social and economic democracy. Important, especially important from prelims point of view. Now, balance. Lots of judgments have come over the years, over the last 50 years or more, about which has a prevalence over what. Like, so what has happened? What is the common consensus right now regarding who is like? This is a what do you say? Who is greater than what, or who is greater than whom? This thing always prevails in our society, right? I am better than you. You are better than me. Similarly, this debate happened between FR and DPSP. Who is better than whom? The final consensus, which is right now, is Supreme Court has said that implementation of directives under Article 39B and C, which is all about social welfare, right? 39B and C should not be declared null and void only on the ground that they are violating Article 14, right to equality, and Article 19, freedom of speech and expression. So this is 14, Article 14, and this is Article 19. So they are saying implementation of directives under Article 39B and C, which is a part of DPSP, they should not be declared null and void only on the scenario that, dude, they are violating right to equality and right to freedom of speech and expression. So this is the balancing part of the basic structure. This is how the balance between FR and DPSP has been maintained. Both are equally important, more so, but yes, FR is FR, right? And DPSP or DPSP. But this you should remember how a balance has been maintained between FR and DPSP. So Article 39B and C, go through it. Just look on the, and I will tell you one more thing. So if you have your Android app and all those stuff, so do download a constitution in your phone and go through these. What do you say? Whenever you read this right now, if you read 39B and C, go and read what is 39B and 39C. That will help you a lot. Now let's not do all these jibber jabber. Let's come straight directly to the point. Let's take about something more. Now again, this is just like Navtej Johar. We have talked about article. Navtej Johar was Article 377. Similarly, you should be knowing Sabarimala case. What is the name of the Sabarimala case? Indian Young Lawyers Association versus State of Kerala. This is Sabarimala case, and this is much more important. Not you cannot compare these two news, right? Article 377 and Sabarimala, but Sabarimala has more been in news. More often than not, you will see Sabarimala in news, right? Too many, what do you say? Petitions and counter petitions and everything has been filed in the case of Sabarimala. So Indian Young Lawyers Association versus State of Kerala is Sabarimala. Navtej Johar is Article 377. Now, shall we talk about fundamental duties? Shall we? Let's keep it for the next session. So what we will do, we'll keep until here only. In the next session, we'll talk about fundamental duties, federalism, and other stuff. Right? Other stuff means we'll talk about even devolution of powers, and we'll talk about union territories and all those stuff. So we'll talk about, and I will specifically tell you what are the areas which are very, 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 very important from prelims perspective. And then I will also share afterwards. I will also share my mains notes, which I made topic wise. So maybe that will help you people a lot. Okay. So again, if you want these notes, and I will share my number, or what it means you can send a WhatsApp message on that particular number, and I will share the PDF. So that's it for this session. Thank you.